The sequel of Kirby Air Ride is here and I am having a blast, and as much as I gassed up City Trial, my new favorite is actually Air Ride, the one with the name of the game in the title. And here I've been doing a lot, and I mean a lot of experimenting on some really easy to learn but hard to master combos for online matches. And while yes, there will always be better combos for those super tryhards, this combo has net me a 70% win to lose ratio, and I can prove it. I've done 123 online matches and have netted first place in 88 of them. And of the 123, only 2 of them were 3rd and 4th place, with a handful of 2nd place and 88 of them being 1st place as of the writing and recording of this video. And I wasn't even using the combo since the beginning, so I can tell you for a fact that this combo is quite potent, and if you've already read the thumbnail, you already know what to expect. The combo being Susie Scooter. And of course, I'm rocking the Dr. Pepper scooter, both to match Susie's alt as well as it's Dr. Pepper. Here's the code for whoever wants it. Allow me to explain why this combo works so well, then I'll go into a tier list with the tracks with the strengths and weaknesses posed in each. Susie is a heavyweight character without being the size of one, which allows some track sections to be viable that, for example, King DDD would not be able to take. I'll show you an example on screen while I'm talking about it. DDD hits the ring with his head, causing him to fall down to a section below, which is bad. Meanwhile, Susie can slip underneath and make it out even with an ability. She also has quite good stats for racing, boasting a great amount of lift, very good grip and turn, and a modest amount of top speed with some boost. As well as her unique trait, she can deploy a propeller whenever you go off a ramp in order to increase her height as well as distance traveled in the air. Now you may have noticed, Wheelie Scooter has no lift. Like actually, his stat is completely empty. So why pick Susie of all characters to pair with it? Glad you asked. Wheelie Scooter is quite the enigma, as whenever it is in the air, it gets a noticeable speed bump, whether you play on Susie or not. Wheelie Scooter naturally is just faster in the air, as well as its insane turning skills, making all the turns a breeze to make your way through with a decent top speed to begin with. So, combining a character with high lift and the ability to prolong airtime, and a vehicle that benefits from airtime that can also turn the sharpest corners, you have a beast of a combo that is basic to understand and rewarding to master. With all the formalities out of the way regarding the combo, let's now get into the tier list of how well this combo performs, starting with Floria Fields. I will be doing these on free run for simplicity's sake, so I can show you each and every one of them in the most basic form. My best time so far being 30.44 seconds for a singular lap. To start off, it's faster to not boost around these corners, and you'll want to hold back just before and while you're in the air off the ramp so you can get as much height as possible. And of course, hit this boost, and you can cut this turn really close to get past it. Then this is where things get a tiny bit tricky to do, right? Do not hold back while going over the first ramp so you don't get as much height, then force yourself down to hit the second ramp. You may need the tap B in the air to lose a tiny bit of height to not hit your head. Then after these rails, there are 2 options. One is go straight off the ramp, and it's really nice and easy. Now for the second, it's actually quite hard to get and will save you not even a lot of time, but it might be worthwhile to master. You need to go up the ramp enough to allow her to pull out her propeller, but not enough to where you go too high above the boost pad to not get its boost. And you don't want to be too low to where her propeller makes no difference. Yes, it's hard, and yes, it barely makes you any faster, but it might be worthwhile to master as I said before. Or just take the easy path because it's barely slower. The final rank I give Floria Fields is a B. Not bad, but not the best, as on some courses this combo is phenomenal. Next up is Wave Flow Waters. I was actually able to break my own personal best twice while recording this, bringing it down to 1 minute 4 seconds .03. Here's how to do it. The first turn is actually faster to do without boosting, most wide turns are in this combo, and the second you can take tightly around, and hold back off the ramp and cut the corners as much as you can. These 2 ramps are both worth taking. Same with this ramp at the 90-degree docks, which are very easy to navigate. You can also take the left path if you really want to power up, however for pure speed, take the middle of the 2 ramps and do what we did earlier. Then take these rocks and, with some luck, hit 2 rings in the air. Then the last 2 turns are easy. first jump without holding back, then the boost jump while holding back for maximum airtime while crossing the line. Final ranking I give this combo on Wave Flow Waters is an A. Now next up is Airtop Ruins, the first S rank for this combo. My current personal best is 1 minute 4 seconds .70. In fact, this is my most played track and what inspired this combo after doing some testing online. I was near unstoppable in ranked, and as well as during the events, only a few times were people even close, however they still ended up getting second place. This track combo is insane. The first 2 turns you can boost around, but make sure to hit this ramp and hold back. As with enough precision, you can boost off the top of the pillar and use the speed to make the other turns like the wind. Then hold back down this ramp while you're in the middle to get the propeller out. Only hold back on the second before last one, as where you land is near perfect for cutting the corner. Now hold back off this jump and onto this flat rock, and then once again hold back to get some more airtime and make these 90-degree turns. For speed, go straight. For power up, go right. But you might have to press B in order to not hit your head. Make sure you hit all of these rings, then for the wide 180 turn, simply just turn. It's faster this way compared to boosting with this combo. And after the last turn, hold back to get enough height to land on the further air platform, and then once more to cross the line with great speed. As I already stated, this track with this combo gets an S tier. Only a few times did people even get close, and even fewer did they actually win. From recollection, I'm pretty sure that only happened once or twice total on this track with this combo, and I've played this track a lot. Now for Crystalline Fissure. This is another pretty strong track for this combo, my best time currently being 1 minute 17 seconds .53 while recording this video. Nice! All of the turns are quite easy to zoom past. However, I encountered a strange tech this time round where I made an artificial ramp to get more speed. I don't know how I did this, but I'll try my best to figure it out. Take the top path and use the air to your advantage, as well as take the ramps in the order shown on screen. You're gonna want to take the left path, as it has the nearest ramp, and while you start to jump off slow, you will end up making a slight bit more distance than you would if you just didn't jump. And then use the left hill as a ramp to get more speed, the right one being available as well, though it is optional, and then one final turn on this ramp and you're good as gold. Crystalline Fissure gets an A ranking for this combo. Up next is Steam Gust Forge. This is one of the trickier tracks for this combo, however there's still plenty of spots where it shines, my current best time being 1 minute 18 seconds .98. Once again, the first few turns are faster without boosting, even in fact without the gusts. Then you'll use this ramp in order to get on the train to get another propeller off. While my personal best didn't use it, I was able to get ahead of mine when doing so. Then here's the tricky part, nothing. So a lot of people can easily catch up to you, but after these turns, take the left steam path, as it is slightly faster and has no boxes to possibly crash into, and then only boost on the right turn. Then you can propeller over to this ramp and onto this grind pipe. Also, take this ramp in order to hit the boost, otherwise unobtainable as wheelie scooter. Then either the top or the bottom will do. The bottom I think being slightly faster but less stylish, so I tend to stick to the top. Here's the hard part, the blimps. The left path just doesn't work at all, and the normal center path is really slow compared to how fast you could be going. You're going to want to jump onto the first big one, then to the tiny ones, but you can't reach the end from here. So you have to end up navigating to the left through the air back over to the golden one, which is way easier said than done, but if you do master it, it's significantly faster than just the big blimps, allowing me to once again break my personal best while recording this, which is actually pretty crazy. Steam Gust Forge gets a solid C. While there are some very good spots, the start and the end are the two weak points of this track, which brings it down in score a bit. But you can still get a big enough lead, and the end won't be a problem if you master it, and then you can use the ramps to get more boost. Now for Cavernous Corners. Cavernous Corners is another solid track, my personal best being 1 minute 19 seconds and 89. Now after the first few turns, there is going to be a ramp on the right you're going to want to take. And instead of going to the boost pad path, go on the middle chunk. It's actually faster, and skew Susie to face the right while in the air to get the best boost. And in the water room, there is once again a ramp you will want to use to skew for maximum speed. You can hit the right jump pad as it makes you invincible and you take out your propeller, and now comes the tricky jump. This jump is possible, but tricky. Like I said, if you go straight on, you'll hit the spikes, but you won't fall. But if you don't want to get hit, you first have to go to the left, then you have to go back right while in the air to get the boost, or just fall. Then use the ramps where the giants usually are. And now comes the geyser room, which it's faster, at least in my testing, to not take any of them until the final stretch, as they remove a lot of your momentum. And at the final stretch, try to hit the first line of them, and then go down in order to hit the boost. After the rails, you can use both jumps for maximum speed, though it is a little tricky, but overall being a good track for this combo. I give Cavernous Corners an A. Now for a less good one, but still solid track, Cyberian Highway. With the personal best of 1 minute 17 seconds .64, this isn't quite the strongest level, its main weak points being towards the end and the end itself. It still has some ways to get ahead. The start, you can spawn a ramp to use to get to the top path, with the propeller being substantially faster than any of the paths available below. And here's a weak spot, straightforward. But at the half pipe, you can either boost or just turn, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. However, you're gonna wanna grab the spinny to not lose speed to go through the spikes, and ignore the big boost. Just take the small strips. Now after the first propeller, aim the second one to the right for maximum speed, and take the miniature path. I tried both, and the miniature path is just faster by a noticeable amount with this setup. And here's where luck comes into play, the disappearing road. You're going to want to go for the empty spots, however they're not guaranteed. So if you want this to be easier, use an empty spot to bring yourself down with B, and to guarantee a ramp at the bottom. Now for the second luck spot, it's just luck. Take the boosts if they're there, and take the ramps and another boost if you can. That's it. Cyberian Highway gets a C, both because it's the first letter and also because it has some weak points without many defined strengths, but still a solid track for this combo. Up next is Mount Amber Falls. My current personal best is 1 minute 38.15, but it's able to make most of the turns with ease compared to other vehicles, and with a relatively straightforward track, there will be very few notes. Most turns you don't even need to boost. In fact, you shouldn't. It's slower at times compared to just turning. Only boost at the boost spots that I do. You can easily get to the top path, and you should. I tested it, the bottom path is significantly slower. The waterfall has 3 paths, left, right, middle, all of which are the exact same other than visual. You're going to want to use the ramp by the water. However, just make sure that you don't land in the water or miss the ramp, otherwise it's a huge loss compared to what you could have had. And that's it. Really simple. And though with not many ramps, it can take advantage of the turns and go to the top path with ease, so I'd say Mount Amber Falls is a solid B. Really easy to navigate with this combo. And for the final track I'm going to cover in this video, Galactic Nova. Galactic Nova is also the weakest track for this combo, and I'll go over why right now. My current personal best is 2 minutes 14.67. Not great. Well, I'm assuming it's not great because I haven't checked online to see anyone else's score. Anyways, this track has 2 major weaknesses with this combo. However, many strong points too. First weakness, the start. It's long, it's straight, and with nothing. You're more than likely to hit these rings, so just go for it. There are these craters that you can use to boost through. Also, you can sometimes get the boost in the air, however, it is very inconsistent for some reason. Now that we're inside, this is your one chance to get as far ahead as possible. You'll need to. This jump, just hold back and then B when you get close to the ground to get the boost and turn as quickly as possible. Take the right path because it's convenient and take these jumps if you can. The last boost you can either just turn or charge turn into. Here's where things get weird. It's really tricky if you want to go about the top path, that being done like this. However, it is hard. But the top path isn't even faster. In fact, the bottom path is noticeably faster in my testing, so just take that, though feel free to do testing of your own. Use your propeller to hit the second boost hump rather than the first, then make the last few turns. Now here's the second major weakness, the very end, for 3 reasons. 1. Scooters lose their momentum significantly faster than stars due to being physically on the ground. 2. Random luck with the boost due to disappearing and being shooting stars. And 3. Slipstream. If you get this online and you're in first, they will use your slipstream to get a huge boost, and since they're most likely using a star, they will zip right past you to the finish line in a flash. This has happened to me more times than it should have. Yeah, this is by far the weakest track, both the hard parts being at the beginning and the end, meaning I must give Galactic Nova a D. And that's all the new tracks. I would go over the old ones as well, but this video is already as long as it is, which is long. So if you want to see the optimal paths for those tracks, and trust me, some of them are really good, Machine Passage and Celestial Valley, they are fantastic for this combo. So tell me in the comments if you want a part 2, and with that, have a good day and a good night. Also subscribe.